Hello, psychology students. Mrs. Olson here. This short video is designed to help you understand the directions for the test, the How We Learn assessment. So you're on page 6.10.1. It is a summative assessment. You have clicked on here, which brings up the criteria. So what you are essentially doing is finding 3 images that represent learning concepts, and then you are writing a well-explained paragraph for each of these images. So you are going to have 3 sets of information. And what I mean by set is that you will have a picture or an image, a graphic, and you will also have writing that accompanies the graphic. So this is, for example, number 1, and then you would have set number 2, and then you would have another set of picture and writing. Okay, so criteria reads that you will find and paste 3 images onto a word processing document like Word. That's what I'm in here. Each image must represent one section of learning. So your image and writing has to cover one concept in classical conditioning, one concept in operant conditioning, and one concept in social learning. Okay? And here is how your paragraph has to be written if you want to receive full points. It says each image will be accompanied by a written paragraph that includes a vocabulary term and its definition. The vocabulary term applied in context, and I'll show you what that means in a moment. And the last part of the paragraph, there needs to be an explanation that connects the term and the image, okay? So it doesn't necessarily have to go in this order. You will see that mine doesn't go A, B, C in order. It actually goes B, A, C, which is totally fine. Within the paragraph, you do have to have these 3 components. All right, so here is little Albert. He is the poor little fella that was experimented on by behaviorists Watson and Rayner, and later on their experiment was deemed unethical because they taught him to fear pretty much anything that was furry. So the writing reads that little Albert was taught to fear rats. Let me pause and back up just a second. So all of this information is going to cover classical conditioning, okay? So I'm only giving one example. You guys have to have 3, but here we go back to the writing. So little Albert was taught to fear rats. This fear was generalized to include other furry objects, including a dog and a Santa Claus mask, which is actually true. Okay. So the second sentence here is covering B in number 2. This is where I've used the vocabulary term in context. This sphere was generalized to include other furry objects, including a dog and a Santa Claus mask, okay? So once again, this is the vocabulary term that I will define, but I have applied it, I have used it in context with what we are talking about here with classical conditioning. Okay, A is going to be the next sentence. It says generalization is defined as responding to a stimulus that is similar to the conditioned stimulus. Okay, so that again hits A. And our fourth sentence is what is going to meet criteria C here. The explanation. It says little Albert began to fear other furry objects because many and different objects were presented to him and were paired with the conditioned stimulus. So once again, that fourth sentence explains how generalization relates to the case of little Albert and classical conditioning. And just in case the reader doesn't understand what I'm saying, I added a conclusion sentence, and I wrote, in effect, the researchers conditioned Albert to fear furry objects. All right. I hope the explanation and the example help when you guys are writing your own paragraphs, one for classical conditioning, one for operant conditioning, and one for social learning. So once again, you are going to have 3 sets of boxes, and you have to have an image and writing, image and writing, image and writing. All right, please let me know if you have any questions. Bye.